Well, I'm back in Kansas now. It's a Friday that I have off, and I just had to show this because I think this might be baby's breath or it's the miniature daisy bush. And I'm so charmed because quite obviously it blooms right now to assist all these butterflies on their way south, which is just so cool to watch them do it. There's this little yellow type of butterfly. It's kind of small. I'm kind of elated right now for several different reasons. I came back from Pennsylvania on Monday, and I sincerely apologize that I didn't film more. Oh, that's cool. Look at that color. I haven't seen that type of butterfly before. Monarchs. I just did not have time to film. Too many people around that wouldn't necessarily be consenting to that, and I was in a professional type of role at the time, so I just couldn't do all that stuff. Although I did show you a couple of the settings and the outcome of the fair. Doing some brush cleansing back behind me or to the side of me. And quite frankly, I've just been exhausted after coming back. I really only went to one cafe and the grocery store a couple of times. It was so intense, and really it was the best feedback I've gotten probably ever in my career, both from the customer standpoint and from colleagues in management and also the resort staff. So I feel very fortunate for that. But just now I was reminded of something, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've heard me say it before, but I really do think that people, at least in all the countries I've been to, more well-rounded and evolving into just a kinder mindset, and I get evidence of this all the time. I would say maybe just as a general parameter, about 37% of those watching are in Europe, 35% in the US, But he just started pouring out all of these details of his life, and well, really too much actually, because he got into his mother's relationships and how much money she made. Wow, okay. I've stumbled on like a butterfly village. Sorry to keep changing topics, but you can see why I'm just so influenced by all this. They must be in serious migration mode right now. And if you're ever around butterflies in close proximity like this, they are very aware of you, and you can talk to them. As crazy as that sounds, like this one, it'll leave when I get closer, but it's reciprocating some kind of calming energy with me and realizing that I'm appreciating it, as are the three that are off in the distance there. This is just incredible. Okay, maybe it won't move, I don't know. Yeah. Aww. I mean, I'm sure they're here for the pollen on the way, but they are also attracted to whatever kind of energy I'm projecting right now too. Projecting or sharing. This is, and you'll notice they kind of lead you certain places too. Anyway, this kid was telling me everything, and the guy, I don't know how to explain it, but he was talking about his mother's ex-boyfriend and how he started off really nice, but then had a brain injury and had become alcoholic, and then started accusing him of breaking the Xbox and stuff. Wow, look at them. I hope you can see them. And I hope this clip turns out, because sometimes the sound quality is off. But as I've pointed out before, there's nothing going on in the sky, so usually that means the sound quality will be good. The way he was showing empathy for this guy who had turned bad due to a brain injury was just really interesting. And so often, one of my neighbor ladies, who's a good friend of mine, gets really mad at the kids, or really angry at the kids for riding their bikes up and down my driveway, which is the only circular driveway on the block. And I've said before, you know, this generation is just different. Those kind of hierarchical, authoritarian models of dealing with things do not really work on them. You don't want to make the world seem like a harsh place. You want to just tell them in a non-emotionally charged way what you want and why you want it. It has to be rationalized. So I first noticed this in Australia 5 years ago when I was traveling. Some kids were bouncing a ball in the food court at this shopping mall. It's the largest in the southern hemisphere. I can't remember the name of it right now, in Melbourne. I just said, this needs to stop, and this is not the appropriate place for that. I didn't yell at them. I didn't say anything like, you kids, or that kind of stuff. And then, like, later on, at the library here, some kids were talking in the area, and I said, I know you're not trying to be loud, you're not trying to be rude, but this area is a quiet area and people are trying to concentrate on their work. And I never got anything snarky back or name calling or bitterness or anything like that that I could detect. And that's because they don't have the servile type of manners that past generations might have. But that's probably a good thing because that was kind of fake. And I'm not saying that bad things never happen now, or that they're just angels or whatever you want to call them. But they're extremely, they're tapping into powers that have been kind of latent for a lot of the rest of us for a long time. And I think they're more malleable to tapping into that than a lot of us are who grew up in more dogmatic times. And I don't like to call this America, but it will fit in this sentence better. This is much nicer than the America I grew up in. There is less money bouncing around at the street level, and I think that it has humbled people. So you might see a lot of people kind of closed off and just involved and extremely busy because there's a lot competing for our attention now. But generally, I think once you get past all of that, people are essentially nicer, more open-minded, all of that, because everyone has suffered a little bit in this recent time, the last 10 years or more. I had to come back here just to see them again. I wonder if there's a big clutch of them or something together somewhere back in here. And then this enlightenment is affecting all generations to some extent, but we don't really know where it's going yet. I think we're still kind of figuring out how to survive this evolving system, because accumulation is more difficult now and we don't really know what should take its place. It's not something that's really obvious in a material way, but I feel like I'm living part of it right now just by taking you here. And back to work, the Mother Earth News Fair was a good place to see some of that in action, although I can't still figure out what my role is there. Never have I had a better set of coworkers. Never have I been surrounded by so many really beautiful, gorgeous women inside and out of all ages in such a strong, high concentration. And yet the pay is not really good there. And I don't have the all-important title as of right now. I'm not using the education that I have acquired over time. But I can tell you for certain that quality of life is very high. And I hope you're seeing these butterflies. The lighting's not really good for it here. They are hungry and storing up their energy. At any rate, I appreciate you watching, and I hope to do more clips for you soon. Thanks. Bye.